Hey Flosstube, it's Kim. I am back with another Flosstube. This is Flosstube number 2, and today is Saturday, April 8th, 2023. I just wanted to say thank you all for stopping by and watching my first video about a month ago, and leaving all of your lovely comments and for subscribing. I really do appreciate it. And thank you to all of the Flosstubers who have shouted me out. I really do appreciate the support in this new journey for me. So welcome to any new viewers, and welcome back to all of my subscribers. Today I gave myself permission to go ahead and record. I've been putting it off. We've been back from Hawaii for a couple of weeks now, and I just didn't get a lot of progress in many projects, and kept telling myself, oh, there's not enough to show. And I really just sat there today and said, you know what? I'm giving myself permission just to show what I have and what I have done over this last month or so since I've been here last. So we'll talk about some things that I've done today. I think I've worked on 5 projects total. One was a new start and finish. At the end of the video, if you want to stick around, I can chat a little bit about how our trip to Hawaii was, maybe put in some pictures at the end. So I'm going to show these in no particular order, just kind of as they are laid out here. And we're just going to jump into it. So my first project actually was my new start. I had every intention of taking this to Hawaii with me. Pause. I did actually take this to Hawaii with me. It was all kitted up and ready to go. As a new start. I was super excited because I was like, ooh, I have 7 hours on the plane, as it's a 7-hour direct flight from Denver, Colorado, USA to Honolulu, Hawaii, USA. And I was like, oh, I'm going to get so much stitching done. And, on the plane out there, and then it's with the tailwinds, it's about a 6.5-hour flight home. I knew I wasn't going to stitch all the time on the way home because it was an overnight flight and I needed to sleep. But I had so many intentions, right? And I think what other Flosstubers call it are fake plans. And so we take off. Well, first we get on our flight and it was a nightmare. So it was spring break for many of the schools out here, and while it was a very large plane, the entertainment system, so the Wi-Fi and the plane, was not working. So we flew United, and usually they do free movies and entertainment in flight, and with their Wi-Fi system, and it was down. We were delayed actually leaving while they were trying to fix that for us for a little bit of time. And then and then obviously the airline just decided that wasn't enough to cancel our flight, thankfully. As you can imagine, 7 hours on a plane that was already delayed, with a lot of families and little ones, was a lot. And it was very turbulent going out there. We would hit pockets of clear air, and then within 40 minutes we were back in our seats in turbulent conditions. And so it's really hard to stitch. I did try, but it is really hard to stitch when you're constantly bouncing around and trying to get the needle in the right spot. So I gave that up very quickly and just read a book instead. And then while we were in Hawaii, I actually didn't get a whole lot of stitching in because I just was spending time with my family and just enjoying the time that we had there. So I finished this when I got home. I stitched the majority of it when we got home, and then just finished it. I'm off on Fridays, so I get plenty of time on Fridays to stitch. So here is this one. And this is an Etsy pad. This is off of Etsy, and it is on, I believe the designer is Sweet Annette, Annet. they have a whole bunch of stamps that are super cute, and they're really small. This was only 1,525 stitches, so it didn't take me very long to do it. I did start it while we were on the island. I did like some of this white border while we were on the island, and that was about it. And so yeah, this was really fun to stitch, and I thought that it turned out super cute. It is stitched, as you can see, on this plastic canvas that I got from Amazon. I want to say this is a 16 count plastic canvas. I got them, I think, like a year ago to do some Christmas ornaments for family, and so I just have a whole bunch of it left over. And I thought, when I saw these stamps, this designer actually posted in one of my Facebook groups, and I went and checked out their website and was like, oh my gosh, those are so cute and would look awesome on the plastic canvas, especially because of how small they are. Also would be great for like all of your scrap fabrics and stuff like that. But I really liked doing this one. I actually have a whole bunch of my favorite list on Etsy, and I will link that Etsy shop in the comments below if anybody's interested in going in and checking them out, and seeing all of the really cute little designs that they have. So yeah, so that one was really fun, and that was my second finish for 2023. The next project that I worked on is by the Cross Stitch Studio. Sorry that I'm looking over here. All of my stuff is over to this side. So this is Sea Turtle. I have a obsession with sea turtles. And so when the Cross Stitch Studio released this pattern, I was like, boom, no, didn't even think about it. Instantly went into my cart, as soon as it was released. So this is what that will look like when it's done. I am stitching this on 25 count Easy Guide Lugana, and I'm stitching it 1/1, and I did 1,261 stitches, and this is where we are. I will try to find and insert pictures of where it was last time that you guys saw this, about a month ago, but last time I think I was probably just in here. So I filled in this section here, and also have been kind of doing this section too. I am trying to convert to Royal Rose, so you can see I'm actually gonna start carrying this over a little bit further, or I might do it page by page. I haven't really decided yet. We'll see the next time that I pick it up. So a lot of blues, which is not terrible. I guess it's okay since my favorite color is blue. And there are some really pretty shades in here of that color. I can't wait until I actually start to work on the sea turtle, but as you can see, it is going to be a long time coming. For those that watched my last YouTube, my sea turtle needle minder, that actually came from Agnes Needle Minders, and she's also on Etsy. And then this was from a Bestitch Me mystery box. Sorry for all of the parked threads. It's just how my brain works. And I like parking. That way I don't have to cut thread and restart it. So the next project that I worked on is Mini All Dogs Go to Heaven 2. This is a Heaven and Earth Designs piece, and it is artwork by Jim Warren. This is what it will look like when it's done. And this is where we are with it. So I did 2,097 stitches on this one. And so last time that you guys saw it, I think that there was a lot of gaps because, as you can see, I was kind of stitching it this way, where it was just kind of filling in colors and this in a section. And what I've realized is I actually don't like stitching like that on this piece, or any piece actually that has a lot of confetti. And so I filled in a lot of this section here because I really want to bring it all down so it's even. And then probably going forward with like the Royal Rose page by page just because it's a little bit faster when you do this. And this is 2/1 10th stitch, and it's on 25 count Lugana, easy count, as you can see. And so Royal Rose goes a little bit faster in 10th stitch, I think. So yeah, so my plan is to convert this one over into a Royal Rose as I work on this. I actually plan on bringing this piece with me to Stitch North in a couple of weeks, and hopefully we'll get some stitching in on it there when I'm with my friends. The next piece that I worked on was Shimmer Black Rose Max Colors. This is also a Heaven and Earth Designs piece, and this is artwork by Laura Prindle. This actually was my first Haid, Heaven and Earth Designs Haid. So this was my first Haid, and when I first discovered them probably about 1.5 years ago, and I went down that rabbit hole so fast. So I found their website and was like, ooh, pretty. And of course started adding all of the charts, and I still don't really know what, how big these pieces are when I look at them. So when I see like a height of, you know, or a stitch count of 525 wide by 477 in my brain, I'm like, oh, that's not that big. And then I got the first piece of fabric for it and was like, whoa, I may have bit off more than I can chew. Now I'm completely addicted to full coverage and have, as you can see, a lot of them. So, I have a lot of their charts. I have a lot of, and I'm trying to branch out. So, I just got my first Pain-Free Crafts, chart. I just bought a couple of Artisy charts. Maybe one of these days I will have a chart parade to show off all of the, patterns that I have that I don't know when I'll get time to start or stitch. So, I feel like collecting patterns is a craft all in itself, just to look at the pretty artwork. So yeah. So one thing that I also made a mistake on when I started this one was that I don't know if I just didn't orient my fabric the right way when I started this. I thought I did, but I like 3-inch borders, and I have a 3-inch border on one side, and I have officially stitched all the way over to the other side of the pattern. And unfortunately, I only have like 1.5 inches on the other side. I won't lie, I actually panicked when I started to get a little bit closer and realized that I wasn't sure that I would have enough. Hopefully I will be able to find an incredible framer who will be able to work with what is here whenever this is finished. And I apologize, my Remarkable that I have all my stats on went to sleep on me, so I just need to reopen that really quick. And so this one got a total of 946 stitches, and this is on a scroll, so I'm just gonna kind of typewriter this across the screen so you can see. What that looks like. And by now you should be seeing the end, about where I only have like 1 inch to 1.5 inches, which is terrifying. Yeah, and sitting here looking at the back is equally terrifying. So again, this is 25 count Lugana. It's easy guide. And I'm stitching this one 1/1. I don't know if you can tell, I did actually start this in 2/1 here, and then realized how quickly that was getting really bulky. I don't think you can really tell when you look at the picture, or you look at the stitching, where I actually transitioned over into 1/1. It was still, while it was in the light color, so I don't think it's as noticeable. So yeah, so I am stitching this overall 1/1 full cross. And like I said, I had 946 stitches. I believe I showed the artwork, but just in case I didn't, that's what it's gonna look like when it's done. There. And then The last piece that I worked on was Cozy Christmas. This is another Heaven and Earth Designs chart. And this is actually a stitch along that I'm doing with my friend Kristen, who is not on Flosstube yet. We'll see if we can change it. Maybe I'll make her do a cameo at Stitch North with me. Maybe Alara and I can convince Kristen to do a Flosstube while we're there. Who knows? But so yeah, so this is Cozy Christmas. This is artwork by Donna Gelsinger. And this is what it's going to look like when it's done. And this one I am stitching 2 over 1 10 stitch on a 32 count. Easy Guy Lugana. Some regrets were made on this, but I'm far enough in that I am not willing to change. So when it gets a little bit bulky or I have issues trying to get my ball tip needle through the confetti, which is very confetti heavy, I actually will change over to a sharper needle and just kind of jab it through. This one I am also changing into more like the Royal Rose method, just because there is so much confetti that I feel like maybe that would help. At least I can fill in the ninja stitches before stitching like the solid colors or whatever you want to say. So yeah, so this is where I am on this one. I know for sure I have a picture from the last time that you guys saw this, and I will insert it. But this is where I am at on this for right now. So I filled in a lot of stuff like down in here. And I'm just kind of working on bringing all of this down. I got a little bored with working on all of the blues, so I kind of started to work on that purple. And that is actually the starting of the wall above the fireplace. So this Christmas tree is going to be massive, and I think that it actually looks really good. 2 over 1 10 stitch. I really like the coverage of the dark blues. But like I said, it is very bulky. I will say my back is actually a lot neater in that one, so maybe I've learned some things since starting my first Hade. So yeah, so that is pretty much everything that I have worked on since I did my first Flosstube video. As I said, it's not a lot. I was gone for a week there, so yeah, that's kind of where I am. I do have some haul. I actually probably have a lot more haul than what I grabbed, but it was just stuff that I remembered as I was coming downstairs to my basement to record. So I just kind of grabbed what I could remember that I have. So as we all know, Nashville was in March, and I did pick up a couple of things from Nashville. So I saw this one, and this is by Lindsay Waite so this is Primrose Cottage Stitches. But the artwork I think is by Lindsay Waite. And it is Welcome to the North Pole. And I saw this and I was like, that is so cute. So my boss really loves Christmas. And I've been trying to find like a pattern to stitch for her and her family. And I think this might be the winner. So here is and I'm sorry if it's backwards. It looks backwards to me, but it says Welcome to the North Pole. And yeah, so super cute. And I really love that. So I don't know when I'll get around to stitching it. But I'm really excited, and I think I have some neutral fabric for it. So we'll see. Maybe it'll be a Christmas in July start. Who knows? And then I bought my first sampler. I am very picky when it comes to samplers, which is why I tend to not gravitate towards them. They're kind of old school for me, and I know a lot of people really like their samplers, but they're just not usually my jam. However, Luminous Fiber Arts came out with one at Nashville, and I saw it and I was like, I have to have it. This is the Enchanted Quaker, and this is a Halloween one. I love Halloween. My family loves Halloween. We're big Halloween people. And so I saw all of these really cute motifs related to Halloween, and I said, I have to have that. It is going in my cart. And so here it is. Those are the only things that I've gotten from Nashville, specifically, I ordered my stuff through Mystic Fabrics. So yeah. And then I did forget a couple of fabrics, but that's okay. So I do a couple of Fabric of the Month clubs. I do one with Mystic Fabrics. I also do one with its Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers, I believe it is. I forgot those upstairs, so I will put them into a different video, maybe here in the next couple of weeks. But so for now, I will show you, this is the March, Mystic Club fabric. It is called Timeless. I think that Mystic Fibers is actually doing more of a neutral club this year. And so a lot of her fabrics have been like beige and just more of those neutral colors lately. I don't necessarily hate it. I have been a member of her club for probably over a year. I used to also do Be Stitch Me, and again, I do the Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers, and those were all really colorful. So I have a lot of really pretty colored hand-dyed fabrics, and that I haven't stitched on yet, and so I am actually not upset that a lot of these fabrics have been neutrals. So this was the March 2023. I'll see if my lighting will let you get a good picture of it. But this was called Timeless. We'll see if this camera will pick it up. Kind of, sort of. So it's like a beigey color, and it's got some marbling in it, and I don't know if you can see it, but the marbling is, oops, there's a little thread there, is a little bit of like a greenish tint to it. So, so yeah, I really like this one. I actually thought about doing the Primrose Cottage stitches on this one, that Christmas one that I just showed a minute ago, but I don't know. We'll see where we land on that, because the one that I just got for April is called Biscuit, and I do just a general any count linen, and it doesn't matter to me whether it's opalescent or if it's not. So I just kind of get surprised with a linen every month from her club, and this one is actually an opal. It is a 36 Edinburgh linen, and it's Biscuit. And I actually am here for it. Ooh, the lighting's actually showing the sparkles. So yeah, so this one, no, it's not showing the sparkles, but it's not really showing the true color. This one is more like a biscuit color, like Grand's biscuit, like you could buy in the grocery store or whatever. So it's kind of like a yellowish color. And she does spoilers or like posts on her Facebook group, which is Mystic Fabrics. If you are curious about what the color actually looks like, not on, oh, hey, maybe that, yeah, that kind of is close. But yeah, so that's the two fabrics that I've received. Like I said, I do actually have a couple. One's like a purpley color, that I got from my Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers for their Fabric of the Month. And then I think last month was kind of like this pink and green one, that I'm actually thinking about using for one of my Bella Filipina patterns, whenever I get around to stitching that. So Yeah, we'll see. I will hopefully be back in the next couple of weeks with some progress, so maybe I'll remember to grab all of it and show it to you all then. I have just a couple of more things to show you all. So this year I joined the Silks for You Silk of the Month Club, where you get, I think it's 5 different colors of hand-dyed silks, because FOMO and a lot of my stitchy friends are in the Silks for You Color of the Month Club or the Silk of the Month Club, or both. I actually signed up for both as of March, so I should be getting the color of the month as well, which last month was this really pretty green, so kind of excited about that. So these are the colors that I got for, these were February's, because I usually get mine because they're in the UK, or no, they're in Australia, I think. She ends up shipping about end month to the US to a distributor, and that distributor then sends everything out. So I tend to not get my silks until the next month is basically about ready to ship. So, so this is the Silks for You February. So this is like a green, like all of these are pastels. This is like an orange color. This is like a pink. So that one's a pink. This one is like a peach. I would call it peach. The camera shows some variegation. I do see a little bit of variegation on that one. And then this one is a light lavender purple color. So yeah, so those are the February Silks for You Club that I'm just gonna start collecting. And then, as you all saw on Sea Turtles, I really like Agnes. I think it's Agnes Little Minders or something like that on Etsy. She's also on Instagram. She's on Facebook. And her stuff is just amazing. I don't know how anyone can just take clay and make it into what she does, other than Clay by Kim. I mean, we all know Clay by Kim. Clay by Kim is amazing. And good luck getting any of her stuff, which I feel is kind of similar to Agnes lately. You really have to be on when one of her collections launches and really just know what you're going for and just like be ready. I use Apple Pay. So I just like check out now, because if not, it won't be there. So I actually, in Hawaii, on our first official day there, first full day there, jumping into the trip a little bit, but just bear with me, folks. We went out on a Zodiac, our family of 7, that's including my dad, my mother-in-law, and my brother-in-law. We're immediate, just little pod of 4. And we went whale watching. It was kind of like a choose your own adventure. It was really fun, actually. I had never been on a little Zodiac like that. And for people who don't know what a Zodiac is, it's like when you see the big yachts and they have the little dinghy that they're pulling behind them usually. That's kind of like a Zodiac. So it's a rubber-sided boat. And so we went out first thing in the morning and we went whale watching because it was blue whale season in Hawaii. Unfortunately, we didn't see any whales. We kind of drove around and jumped waves and just had a really good time, just in general on the boat. And unfortunately, we did that for like an hour maybe. And unfortunately, we just didn't see we didn't see anything. So we decided to go snorkeling instead. I have never been snorkeling in my life. I would say 2 out of 10. It is not my jam. I definitely had a panic attack as soon as I put my face in the water, because it's just not a natural thing for me, and my brain just doesn't work that way, unfortunately. So I did manage to really focus on my breathing and did get to actually see, like, enjoy it for a minute, until my brain said, hey, we're not doing this. But where I was going with that story is that on the way back in, my brother-in-law saw a sea turtle. And so they turned us around, and we were able to see the sea turtle, which I will put pictures or a video in at the end of this if anybody wants to see it. It was really cool. It was a female, and our tour guides were like, normally they don't stay on the surface this long, but she was just sunbathing, just floating on top of the water, stick her head out, kind of look at us, say hi. I mean, it made my trip. That was the whole thing that I told my wife that I wanted to see, was the sea turtle during my trip. Everybody was like, oh, they're everywhere. And so getting to see it on the first day was great. With that being said, after we got off the water, Agnes actually did release a collection of dragons and sea turtles that same day. And so I went on and I was like, I'm getting one. And I kept refreshing the page, refreshing her page, because it was just a couple of minutes before lunch and I wanted to make sure that I could get one. And so I got lucky, and not only did I score the one not only did I score one, I scored 2. And so this is the one that I wanted because one of my other favorite animals is a butterfly. I have a personal connection with that, that maybe I'll go into in another video. But so her collection, this was one of the turtles. This was the one that I went in after. And I was like, oh, I'm going to buy this. This is going to also like commemorate me going to Hawaii and seeing a sea turtle for the first time. So super cute. And I just, like I said, I absolutely love her needle minders. And then I went back in and there was another one that had caught my eye, and I was like, if it's still there, I'll get it. And it was. So I bought this one as well, and I love the colors on this one. They're just super bright and vibrant. So cute. So yeah, so those, I don't know what projects they'll go on yet. I really love my little pumpkin one too, because I said I like fall and Halloween and stuff like that. So so yeah, I don't know. I just feel like at this point, this is also another thing that I'm collecting. But those are really special, and those go on projects that I monitor because my dogs really think that they're also look delicious. And I've found them chomping on my other one. So, luckily they're sturdy also. So yeah, so life updates. For those of you who don't want to listen, again, thank you for stopping by, for checking out my second video, for allowing me space and permission, giving myself permission on recording when I don't really have a whole lot of stuff that I've worked on. I just kind of get stitching on a project and I absolutely start falling in love with it all over again, and then I just don't stop and I stitch on it for a couple of days or a week. So that's kind of how I stitch. So hopefully the next time I come back here, maybe I'll have stitched on some different projects. And so I'm going to go into life updates. So if that is not your jam, please, if you like what you have seen today and you're not already subscribed, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button so that way you know when I post new content. Thank you for being here, and we will see you next time. All right, so life updates. So we have been back from Hawaii since the third weekend, I think, in March. And we had a really good time. There were a lot of personalities that were there, and I think overall it went really well. I may have mentioned in my last video that we surprised my mother-in-law, that she had no idea that my brother-in-law was coming. And it actually worked out really well. He actually landed 3 hours before we did, and so, because he was on a different flight, and he went to the beach and then met us at the hotel. So after we were done checking in, I pretended that I was recording the lobby, which I normally don't do, and was telling my family and everybody to wave. And my brother-in-law came running up to my mother-in-law, like standing behind her, and was waving and like put his arm around her, and she was just all like, hey. And then he actually said, hey, and as soon as she heard his voice and realized that it was him, she screamed. The entire lobby heard her, and was crying, and it was a really good surprise for her. And we didn't kill her or give her a heart attack, so hey, bonus. So yeah, so we stayed in Waikiki. I actually got really sunburned, and so did my dad. I think my dad got it worse than I did. He blistered. I was in pain for a couple of days, but I was able to go across the street to the ABC store, which is on every corner there, and get some, medicated afterburn stuff that really helped me heal. He's a little bit more stubborn, and just thought he was going to deal with it, and probably by I would say day 4, he was then crying, and he actually asked. I told him to ask for help, and so he finally did, because he can't lift his arms and shoulders. Sorry, my hair is like bothering me. So he can't lift his shoulders because he has bad shoulders, and so where his sunburn was, he couldn't like get the ointment on there. So it helped him heal pretty quickly. I will probably buy more of this stuff. It's Neutrogena. It's like after sun burn care or something. And it was great. So yeah, I came back. You can't really tell because I'm on video. But I actually do have a tan, so that makes me really happy. That was my goal. And so we did, the beach was only a block and a half from our hotel, which was fantastic. We did some beach days. We, like I said, went out on the Zodiac. That was really fun. We went to a luau with actually like an authentic luau. And so that was actually really fun. The homemade pina coladas that they served us in a fresh like Hawaiian pineapple, to die for. And free refills. They were non-alcoholic, but it was okay. They were still delicious. And I mean, I will probably dream of those. And the pineapple from Hawaii in general, like y'all, I know that everybody has pineapples. Like you can go to the grocery store and buy a pineapple, but I will tell you, having fresh, like Hawaiian pineapple every day for breakfast was so good. I don't know what it is about the pineapple there, other than it is just perfectly sweet and juicy, and just you can't get it here at the grocery stores like that. Yeah, but it was like $35 to bring one back home, and sorry, but nah, no, I don't think so. And so yeah, so we did the luau. We also went, I'm losing my train of thought here. We went up to the North Shore, which is where a lot of the surfers and stuff like that hang out, and saw the big waves. We went swimming right around the corner. I think it was Waimea Bay. It was not calm that day, and it was terrifying. My kids were out. My kids are 13. They're twins. I'm stepmom, if I haven't said that already. And they were out on their buggy boards, like in the surf, and we're having a good time. We saw a bunch of people out there and stuff. I couldn't even really get in because the current was so bad that it was like, as soon as you stepped towards getting into the water, like your feet were sucked into like half a foot of sand. My brother-in-law had been in with the kids and he's like, it's not that bad once you get past the break. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm strong enough, I can do this. And the break was right there on shore. So right where we were standing at, that I was worried. So I went in, my wife followed me, and then my mother-in-law and my dad, who both have mobility issues and just like some, like just their bodies aren't put together as put together as they used to be. My mother-in-law is, you know, retired Army, and worked her body pretty hard. And my dad is used to work in the construction field. So, they're not as strong as they used to be. And so they decided, hey, you know what? My mother-in-law said, hey, if they can do it, let's go in. So they came in, they were following behind us, and a big wave came. I would say this wave was probably 3 to 4 feet. And so as it's coming, I decided that, so I'm 5'8", I decided that I was going to jump so that it wasn't coming over the top of me. For people who've been into a wave pool, you know kind of where I'm going with this. So I jumped and it pushed me back, right? It took me with it. Which would have been fine, except for my mother-in-law was right behind me, and the wave pushed me back into her, which made us both fall, and it was like a domino effect. I went down, she went down, my dad went down, my wife went down. And where it put us was in that break. And I was struggling to get back up. And I was like, nope, I have to get up because I need to help people. Like, I need to help make sure everybody's also up, right? And also, like, the kids, like, are they okay? Even though they're on their boogie boards, they just rode the wave. So I willed myself to get up as wave after wave is, like, crashing over the top of us. I got myself out, got the sand and salt water out of my face, and my wife was calling and yelling at me to get my brother-in-law, who was up on the beach. So I start yelling for my brother-in-law and waving my arms. Lifeguards also saw that I was yelling and waving my arms because my mother-in-law could not get up. So most of her limbs are barely connected, and are hanging on kind of by like muscle. I know, kind of gross, sorry. And so she was still down. Luckily they had been able to get her enough so that the waves weren't like swallowing her. So my brother-in-law came running, we were able to get her up, and she couldn't move her shoulder. So we, got her to the guard stand, got some ice on her, and we're debating whether we needed to take her to the Tripler VA hospital there, which I guess is one of the best VA hospitals in the world. Ultimately, we just iced it and kind of babied it the rest of the week, made sure she had everything that she needed, and she was able to come home. But it definitely put a little bit of a damper on our trip, just because between her shoulder, my dad's sunburn, you know, people were a little more limited in what they could do. We went to the Dole Plantation too. Do not recommend. If you're planning a trip to Honolulu, just skip it. If you need, sorry, my dog's barking. If you need a Dole Whip and you're driving up to the North Shore or anything like that, stop and get a Dole Whip. But the rest of it is not worth it. So there was a maze and a train ride and the gardens, and we didn't actually get to do any of it, because the train broke down every single time we got in line. I mean, I think we waited in line twice for over an hour, each time. And every time like the train broke down, and it's like a little kiddie train anyways, but it would have been cool to see like the rest of the plantation. But if you need that Dole Whip, just go get the Dole Whip. We had shave ice. It was right next to our hotel. At least one place. I mean, you can get shave ice all over the island. But there was this little kid who was so cute, and he was doing a shave ice tour of the island, and made sure to tell us that that place was like the best. And I have to agree. I mean, it was like shave ice, like it was massive. And the price was reasonable, and it was great. My wife ended up getting sick for the trip, so she had a pretty bad sore throat, so gave me an excuse to go over there and get some for her. Other than that, I mean, we all came back with a bunch of souvenirs, and definitely cannot wait to go back. It was an expensive trip, but looking forward to going back, maybe a different island next time. Not really sure. Yeah. So that's it for me. I will put in some pictures at the end from the trip if you want to check them out. And if not, I will see you all next time for Flosstube number 3. Maybe it won't be a month from now. We'll see. Bye.